Do you think the reason why that there's no continuation of his life, it's because he's outside of the timeline? I mean, we know that Thor, in a way, or Thanos.
When it ended?
Yeah,
No,
Thanos.
because he died.
Well, yeah, but there's so many ways of people coming back to life somehow. And it just so happened that he couldn't come back to life because we think he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But my thinking is that the reason why he doesn't have a continuation of his story, because he happened to fall out from that variable or variant timeline.
Well, welcome in. I always say welcome, and thank you for listening to your favorite podcast. This is very trebly.
Yes, very. Well, for you.
There you go. Ooh, perfect. Now I have less treble. I need to add more bass in my phone. My
Your mic.
Why are you doing the check? I'm the one doing the check. Okay. Again, thank you for listening to your... Can I do my intro?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Jeez.
Thank you for listening to your favorite podcast and watching this. This is the Maximum Filipino Show. We know this is your favorite podcast because you keep coming back and listening to this, so we appreciate you. We're doing Afterflicks. This is a little late. We're doing a Loki, the first episode. By this time, second episode. It might be third episode's already out. But we are doing the second episode. The first episode, I'm sorry.
Yes,
the first episode of Loki. This is the Disney Plus original show.
And I love it so far.
Anyway, I don't know if you guys noticed, we did WandaVision, but we didn't do Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just didn't have any strength.
Yeah, the boss didn't have any interest to it, so I'm just following his lead.
I just did this. We just decided to do Loki. We enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Don't get us wrong. It was a good show.
Not worth potting though.
It's probably worth potting, but it's a spy movie.
Spy movie.
It's a spy movie. There's nothing really like a mystery kind of thing going on compared to WandaVision and this Loki. Anyway, let's start with this podcast. What do you think about the show? You can finally say something now.
Okay, I can say something. I enjoy it so far. The opening was great. I love it. What do you think?
That's it? That's all you're going to say?
Well, okay, fine. I will take the spotlight while the spotlight's on me.
Go ahead.
Jeez.
I asked you, what do you think about the show?
I told you what I think. I thought it was great. There were some things that I saw that were not what I expected to be. It just reminded me a lot about a game that I used to play that maybe I would still play. Fallout. Some old scenes and new scenes. Or oldies, newbies mixed together in this show. And Loki being the main character. His opening part of the show I thought it was hilarious.
Wait, how is that related to Fallout?
Okay, so, well, if you played Fallout 4 or Fallout 76,
I played the fourth.
So most of the technology are in a way advanced, but they have used old, like 70s, 80s look.
I see.
Yeah, like for example, in the when Loki entered the elevator, that computer, it reminded me a lot of the digital version of the guy that used the thumb.
Yeah.
Like all that view, and then the setting in the house or in the whole place, like a 70s, 80s look. And
wait, what house?
Not in the house. I mean,
talking about TVA.
TVA, yeah, TVA. The whole area, the whole setting. Yes, like 70s, 80s. It was really cool that I saw that. It looks like Fallout. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it so far. I mean, there's more I want to say, but
yeah, it was a really really good first episode. A lot of things just showed out of nowhere and like just blew my mind. Like the show is just, it's heavy already in just the first episode alone, and we can talk about that later. So all in all, it was a good episode. We're excited. I'm excited to watch the second episode. We might do it sometime. But we're gonna watch the second episode and then do a podcast for it too. So let's talk about the show. What is any scenes that stick out to you? Any?
Well, it started from the opening when they did the introduction, trying to give you a backstory of how this started, where Loki's turning point or paradigm of how the story began.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out, what are the Mongolians part for, or are they just extras in the show? And other than that, because I'm trying to play in the questions and the way you think and critique movies and shows, like if they have a very small part or short part, they might be a big thing, but neither of them are key actors in real life, so they were just probably extras.
Yeah.
When he fell from the sky.
I know. He just see, what I don't know is I don't think he went back in time or he went somewhere in time. I think he just traveled through space. Yeah, because so the Asian people, they might be Mongolian, they might be Nepalese, I don't know, but the Asian people, or those
I think it's Mongolian
ethnic people, I don't know.
No, because when they were, I remember right in the beginning when they spoke something and they translated on the side and the subtitles Mongolian.
Okay, right. Okay, so yeah, those Mongolian people, they might be, because you don't. I couldn't tell if it's from the past, that because they're wearing the same, like traditional clothes, or it's just the same time, but they're wearing those kind of clothes. So I don't know, but so I don't think he chose to go there. I think it's just a random place where he's supposed to go, because he was a little confused when he ended up there.
I thought you have the ability to control the Tesseract when you have it. Or because it's a space Infinity Stone, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah. Maybe he.
Think about this. Maybe Thanos could be able to do it because he's strong enough. But remember Red Skull, when he held the Tesseract, he ended up in a different planet.
A different planet. But everyone else hold it like it's a toy. Well, granted, TVA, which we'll explain later, they held it like it was nothing.
Well, yeah, because magic doesn't exist there.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter. But the point is the traveling or the usage of Tesseract, it was a random for him. Same thing with Red Skull.
Right.
But with Thanos in his gauntlet, he could be able to control where it needs to go.
Right.
But go ahead.
But yeah, so I like AJ mentioned, the opening of this.
Who the heck is AJ?
Okay, CB or Ajo. I call him Ajo. So the opening of this show was great. It came in strong. Basically, I love how Loki, knowing his character or his personality in the MCU, how he just went along with the whole checkpoint, or they're going through the stages of whether he's checked out, like going through the elevator, changing his clothes, dropping into the one drop in the elevator where the second part is every word that he said was true or not. I really wish they just dragged it out just a bit on that episode, and then dropping to the next floor where the what do you call that machine that you go through to check yourself? Well, anyway, going through there, and after reviewing it, I saw on the sides, apparently a few people have died. So-called robots exploded there because there's all these marks on the side of that checkpoint. Thought it was funny that he was doubting himself whether he was a robot or not. He can't even remember if he was from the Frost Giants, because he's a son of one of the Frost Giants in the movie or in the MCU history. Yeah, the opening was pretty phenomenal, and then the introduction of TVA, the view of everything, and then the place where they live at. I'm really trying to understand where's their foundation? Do they just live in space, outside of space, or something? And yeah, there's a lot I want to say, but the opening was great. What did you enjoy so far in the whole show?
So those are your scenes?
If we're still talking about favorite scenes, my favorite scene
Yeah.
is when Loki was trying to stand up to make a point,
Mm-hmm.
but the officer, forgot his name again.
Mobius.
Mobius. Ooh, that's a very heavy name. Mobius. When Mobius made him reverse, going back to the chair when he wasn't trying to run away, he
Mhm.
just said, "I'm just trying to stand up and make a point." I don't know if you remember that scene.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually my favorite scene. But go ahead.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. And then him going back to a spot where there was no chair. That little toy that almost looked like Click. I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, yeah, that's my favorite scene.
Mm. So this whole thing with Loki reminds me a lot. Oh, it's a parallel of Thor Ragnarok. When he got captured, they put a thing on his neck
Mhm.
with the electricity, and he got through all that, checked into, and those checkpoint. He got a haircut from Stanley. So it reminds me a lot of Thor Ragnarok. Which is funny because they're siblings. And then Thor got the thing on his neck, but his is electric shock.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Now think about this, the parallelism between the two, right? And I don't know if a lot of people caught this. We didn't watch any reviews on YouTube or
Correct.
anything on TikTok. We didn't watch anything. This is just our own self explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And opinion, observation. So this, I don't know if this is intentional from the director, but there's a huge parallelism between Loki and Thor Ragnarok, specifically in this first episode, because you have Loki getting that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what does it do?
It reversed time on
Right, it reverses time. Like it creates another in idea. It creates another person from here to the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? And with Thor, it was electric shock. Okay, now with that said, with that same mentality, it's funny because in Thor Ragnarok, he's the god of thunder, and he gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I see where you're going
But
with this.
Loki is a god of mischief, and one of his ability is to create another version of him. And then when that gets attacked, he will go back where he was used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, so that whole
Nice.
comparison with the necklace, with the checkpoint, with the machine. Okay, so the machine, right? The machine with Thor, it was his hair that Stanley cut.
Oh, you're
Right?
right. You're right.
Yeah, with Loki, it's his clothes.
Correct.
That got shaved and changed.
Yeah, you really know how to see these little things. What is with you, man? Okay, I don't know how your mind works, but yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Yeah. And there's another one. So there was another one. This is so funny. It's like how all of them are connected. So in Thor Ragnarok, one of the prisoners with him, I don't know if you remember, this one of the prisoners with Thor got disintegrated with a wand. Turned to a liquid. Remember that guy?
that happened to
Then Thor Ragnarok. Remember that one guy who like owes something from the whoever that leader. I forgot the name of the leader, like a Master Chief or something like that. But he kind of he
yes,
did an
the one right
offense
next to the
to Thor when he was sitting down on the chair.
yeah, it was what's his name? You're talking about the female Cap, right?
What? So the leader itself, and then the other the right hand person.
Yeah, it was the right hand who did
Yeah,
it, right?
she got a staff of
Okay,
something,
I
and
do
then pointing
remember
at the person and disintegrated to liquid.
Yeah.
And now in Loki, there was a second prisoner with him who got disintegrated, like resetted, with the
wand.
wand.
Yeah, how do you connect that? I wonder if they're family because the guy that got liquefied was a cousin of that. What's his name? Because he's considered a
Are you talking about in the
Ragnarok. What's his name?
cousin?
Yeah, he mentioned that the guy that.
Oh, yeah. He was I think he's brothers of the guy from Nowhere.
Oh, brothers. Yes.
Yeah, they're siblings.
No, I guess he mentioned in the little scene either he was a family friend or he was related to a family relative, and he owed him something. Being so powerful, he took advantage of his ability. Anyway, I remember the liquid guy.
Yeah. So those are some of the connections that I noticed between Thor Ragnarok and Loki.
Yeah, there's a lot of connections there. I'm freaking out the way how you think, man. It still does. It bothers me how you think. It still does.
Yeah. What else? So my favorite scene, my favorite scene is that one. That's actually my favorite scene with that whole thing. It's like, I'm trying to make a point. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You can stand up now. Well, I'm kind of like, I feel like missing the point. And then he still,
don't say it no more.
yeah. And then he still did it.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the guy who got disintegrated because it's like tickets. So he's like, I got it. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
That was a funny scene. There was another one with so how do you plead? He said guilty for this, and then he tried to do his magic, but it wasn't working. Like it was so dumb. Like nothing is working for him.
Right.
And it's like, oh, he's trying to do magic. He was trying to do magic, so it didn't work. There was some of the questions. So let's talk about. So that's one of your favorite scenes, right? That was your scene.
Yeah, that's the only thing that keeps popping up because it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have I was trying to remember lines, but I couldn't. I should have taken notes. I usually take notes, but I didn't.
I was taking notes. Apparently, I didn't catch any lines because I was just so invested with how I was in awe with everything that was going on because it was a new concept. Though it's part of MCU, it's just outside of the usual MCU. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character besides Loki?
It would have been the who did I wrote down? I was gonna say either the black girl or the Asian guy.
Asian guy.
Yeah, the
the
guy
yeah,
in the lobby.
What's
his name is Casey.
Yeah, Casey.
Yeah, like what's a fish? What does that mean? You know, when he was like, "I'm gonna kill you and chop you up like a fish, or cut you up like a fish."
Right.
What's a fish?
Yeah,
you gotta show me.
I know. He like kind of dumb with a lot of things because when he got handed with a tesseract, it's like, what is this? A tesseract? It sounds dumb. He said.
Well, hearing him, it just got me thinking, like trying to branch out all thoughts. That I don't think the common sense in the TVA world is the same as what we know. Like he doesn't even know fish.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's from space.
Well, exactly. I mean,
from
like
a different dimension.
And then the Tesseract, and as we saw in the scene, they have a bunch of rocks, a bunch of Infinity Stones that he said that they use just a paper holder.
Yeah.
So, it just kind of opened up the thought or the theory that none of the things that we know on Earth, I don't even think they know water or
ocean. I disagree because Mobius knows a lot of things about this. Infinity Stone know a lot of things about Earth. Now, the reason why I think Casey doesn't know because he works in the office.
Yeah, you're right. There may be some exceptions because I was thinking about those who works in the field. I'm thinking like CIA. So CIA are those who are, or not saying CIA, but agents who works from the inside, from the office. Who do you call them? An analyst?
Sure.
Okay, sure. And those who works in the field, agents, like the Minutemen. That's what they're called. Yeah. The Minutemen is also a group in Fallout 4, by the way.
Right. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, go ahead.
So that's what I think. I think Casey, it's either he was born in that world, so he had no idea what's going on Earth or other dimensions. So he didn't know what a fish is. He didn't know what Tesseract is. He didn't even know what Infinity Stones are.
Correct.
In that thing. My favorite character though is Mobius. I like Owen Wilson's character in there. He's really funny. Like he added a great character in the whole show. Like he's not a superhero, but he's a best, like a good supporting actor in the show. All the interaction that he's having, you can see like Owen Wilson character in that. Like I have no idea who Mobius is in the comic books. We don't usually read comic books. We read manga, but we don't read comic books. So we have no idea the background, who really is Mobius. It's the first time we met him. We know about him.
Yeah.
But I think this character, Owen Wilson, really played Mobius really well.
The support, like you said, the support character. He held him well.
Yeah.
like in the interview, um, he held the interview of talking to Loki, saying things that it's really out of this world. But he's, what I'm saying, he carried the character well. Yeah.
And yeah, and some of the lines he carried it, like a lot of the lines he carried it well, because when he was showing the videos of Loki,
yeah.
when he said, I'm gonna take the drink now, and he was drinking something, and he like offered to him.
Oh yes.
Like those funny little bits of scenes in there was really good. And then he like give him a little banter, because he asked him a question about Loki, and then he said, I'm not a big talker, or I don't like talking. And then he asked him about the Mobius asked him about the wizards or the timekeepers, and he said, well, all the space lizards, and then Mobius said, I thought you don't like talking, and things like that. So
he really know how to bring I think it's really his personality into that character of Mobius. Yep.
Yeah. So anything that you noticed in the show? What's in your notes? Anything that you because you have a lot in your notes, but you're not saying a lot of things. So what's in your notes?
Well, they're more like just interactions to what I saw on the show.
Yeah.
Like, again, I love TVA in the sense that it reminds me a lot of Fallout 4. Now, I'm not really much of a Fallout 4 fan. It's just I can relate. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
The TV, the vibe, the setup. There's a mixture of 70s with modern technology. And I'm, again, wondering how they're living in their space. Let's see. Loki... Oh, having no powers. Do you think it's just in their world, or it's just restricted to some?
It is. I think it's just in their world. I think the timekeepers are that powerful that they can make the whole place anti-magic or non-magic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. Seeing Loki in the court. Oh, and at first when the introduction of Mobius, when they were pointing at when they were talking to that boy at the church, when he was pointing at the mural, I thought it was
Mephisto.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
that's what I thought.
I didn't want to keep going back there, because it was, WandaVision was a meltdown with Mephisto. Like every episode is like, oh, this is gonna be time Mephisto will show up. And I'm not just talking about us, I'm talking about the whole world. It's like, oh, Mephisto's gonna show up, he's gonna be in this show, he's gonna be in this scene, he's gonna show up, Mephisto is this, Mephisto is that. So
I'm not trying to go back.
I know. I know. I feel like we're being trolled by Disney again. We're like, oh, what do you mean again?
I mean, because I think you mentioned the same thing in WandaVision, that it was like a troll on some of the scenes of how they were going through the decades of how it compared. You mentioned something. You said the same thing in WandaVision. I don't know if you remember. Like, they were spitting out some things, like, for example, Silver Surfer. Tricking us in the concept. It's not reality, but they're using... Go ahead with your explanation, because it's similar to the idea.
Really?
Yeah, because you brought it up in WandaVision. You did.
About getting trolled?
Yeah, in the sense they were tricking the audience that this may be it, but it's not it. Like, for example, the X-Men is coming in, but it's not really X-Men coming in. They were just messing with people's mind, knowing that this character...
It's not... You messed me up with Silver Surfer. It's not Silver Surfer.
Sorry, Silver Surfer. I'm talking about some Silver. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
He is
Quicksilver.
There
you go.
Yeah.
Silver.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember now. I remember the trolling. We're like, oh, we're gonna show you Quicksilver, and then here comes the rest of the X-Men in it. But I think this is I just assume that Disney Plus heard about a lot of people doing a prediction that Mephisto is gonna be there in WandaVision. So now they're like, oh, here's the demon.
Right.
What do you think about Mephisto, huh? So that's gonna be another thing that they're trying to poke us. Like, hey, Mephisto's gonna be here. He's not here. It's a different character.
Yeah.
So what else do you have?
Also, I think this is the most vulnerable I've seen Loki as I mean, the only time that I seen him all messed up is when he found out his mother died in Ragnarok. Oh, no, not Ragnarok. Is it Ragnarok?
No,
It was
Dark Elves. With
Dark
the
Elves.
Dark Elves. Yeah.
But this is where he really broke down to Mobius because he can't use his powers. He can't disappear. So he basically fell into this psychologist or psychiatrist in the sense where he broke down. I don't like to hurt people. I don't.
Yeah, I don't like.
And
those
this,
people.
this is the most vulnerable I've seen Loki as being more human than ever than a god.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of shocked about it because it's very different from how he was in all the MCU, being the most baddest villain. Well, not the baddest villain, but quite the villain that was annoying to everyone.
Well, he was the first Avenger villain.
Yeah, and the DB Cooper.
Yeah.
Apparently, is a legitimate.
Yeah. Yep.
I was tripping. I was like, what?
Yeah, he is.
I had to look it up, but DB Cooper is an actual scene. Speaking of that scene, I think it was really misleading. But then again, it's Disney. But most of the actions were shown in all the previews of the trailers. Mislead me to think that he was on a mission to do something, but it was basically scenes from the first episode.
Oh, from the trailer?
Yeah.
You're watching the trailer? Yeah. That scene, I think it's more like a nod from Disney Plus. Like Disney. Not Disney Plus. Not from the app. Like from Disney. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do this cameo per se or a reference. But there's no purpose for it. There's no reason to show that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole thing, because I asked myself, like, from a Loki perspective or a Marvel perspective, like, why is that a thing? And then Loki mentioned that it was a dare. No, he lost a bet.
Yeah,
from
between
him
Thor
and Thor.
and
No, just him and Thor.
was it just him and Thor?
Yeah.
I thought Thor and what's the guy?
Heimdall?
Yeah.
No, Heimdall is the one running the thing. That's why
Oh.
he said, Thor and Heimdall, you guys better be ready. But it was a
That's
bet
right.
between him and Thor.
Mhm.
So I thought at first, I'm like, well, there's no reason to do this. Like, what is the point? And then that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. And as the story carries on, it got to the point of the Infinity Stones. I thought in this part, because before Loki, in every single movie and to also show, they've been emphasizing how powerful the Infinity Stones were.
Yeah.
And when it got to this point in the pushcart, they were nothing but just rocks holding paper. It was just hitting my head. I was like, how are the most powerful stones in all of their universe becomes just colorful rocks? I mean, MCU have hyped it to the point where even Thanos was able to change the time or erase half of the universe, half of all life. To the point where now in TVA, they're nothing but just colorful rocks, multiple colorful rocks in paper.
Yeah.
They went from here and dropped quick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's only because the sole reason was there's no magic in there.
Exactly. I believe it. It's just
That's
it just hit me. I was like, these stones were going through blood and sweat trying to, get these stones to make a difference in even a minute of life, and they just, have rocks there. And just think about it. These stones were just on all of MCU. But anyway, that was kind of shocking to me how they used just rocks. They use it just rocks to hold paper down. Let's see. Oh, I like the scene. The scene where before Loki was spilling his beans to Mobius. I like how he used his childish revenge against the female.
Oh
Minutemen.
yeah, going back and forth.
And forth. She reminds me of the male Black Eyed Pea guy.
Will I am?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Will I Am. And I didn't know that's how you pronounce his name. Well, it's William, but Will I Am.
Yeah, it's Will I Am. Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
I'm just saying. I'm opening my thoughts. I'm just speaking my mind.
It's Will I Am.
Okay, but I didn't know that's Will I Am. And scenes. I don't know if this when you meant by scenes you're talking about any flaws.
No, that will be a different segment.
Okay. Well,
We can talk about that later.
Let's see. The fact that TVA soldiers. I really have other things. Well,
Okay, let me.
Yeah,
let me start with mine. So the first one was with the Infinity Stones, when he saw all the Infinity Stones, and then that dawned on him, like that hit him hard, and that also hit me hard. I was like, man, this place is the most powerful thing so far, most powerful thing ever over anything else. Because the Infinity Stones are the most powerful gems. They're really powerful. And then for Casey to just roll them, which is funny because in Endgame, in Infinity War, when I forgot his name. I just had him in my head. When Thanos wizard got the Tesseract and handed it to him, he was saying that you are the only being that can hold an Infinity Stone, let alone multiple Infinity Stones. And then here comes Casey just rolling it like it's nothing.
Right.
Which makes sense because there's no magic in there. If there's any magic, he will just die. So it dawned on him and it just hit him. Loki, it just hit him like, oh, this is one of the most. This thing is power. This thing is. Right. This place is powerful. And it also hit me. I'm like, oh man, yeah, it is powerful. And now if you think about it, right? Well, first of all, before we go into it, one of the things that you notice in the desk, right, where there was I think it was a Valor. I don't even know. I know it's a medal. I think it's a Medal of Valor. I don't know. But one of the things that you notice, if you pay attention, I had to Google it because it looked familiar. There was a baseball card in there, and the baseball card, I'll show you the picture. This is the baseball card. It's 1909 T206 Honus Wagner. It's one of the most expensive baseball card, and it cost the value is $3 million or $2.8 million.
How do you
record
catch
of 2007
these things, man?
Sale of the Gretzky Wagner. I just saw the baseball card. I'm like, why does that look familiar? So I looked up baseball cards. And then, because he looks like a sports character, so I Googled most expensive baseball card, and that hit me. But I've seen that card before, because with all the sports card and Gary V. So because he mentioned about that card, so I had to Google it. So yeah, I saw that, and then a bunch of Infinity Stones. Now it hit me. Why is there a lot of Infinity Stones? Right? Why is there so much Infinity Stones in there? And now I went back and thought about Infinity War, right? So TVA, their main goal, that there was a lot of multiverse, right? They're trying to protect the sacred timeline. Sacred timeline. But in Infinity War, I don't know if you remember, Doctor Strange found millions. There's a million of multiverse, right? But there's only one way to stop him. That means that wasn't the first time they saw Loki or someone who's trying to take an Infinity Stone. Most likely, it was it was confirmed that there was the guy that Mobius was trying to chase was Loki, right? Yes. It was another Loki. But how many times have they had Loki there, erased him, Loki there, erased him, which makes sense why they aren't freaking out when Loki escaped. Or when he did something, like they're just, you can see how calm they are when he escaped, or when Mobius was talking to him and telling him, I'm your only solution, and things like that. They're just calm because probably this is not their first rodeo when it comes to Loki. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of Infinity Stones in there.
Well, that sucks. Well, that shot my theory in too. Yeah,
it's like the theory with
I just felt less important, even though I'm not the character. I'm like you said, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just saying.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying that it's not the first time they've seen Loki, so this is just another Loki coming in.
Yeah.
I just felt less important because each individual character will feel that they're unique, but to know that there's so many of them out there and they're just getting washed up. Yeah, I just felt. Less important.
I would have felt the same way if I had watched Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty gave me this feeling like, well, if this is true, then I'm just nothing. Like, because there's a billions, trillion version of me, and I'm just right here. I'm just another version of me. You know what I mean?
So this is just my moment that you had with Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Because there was one episode in Rick and Morty that they had to go to a different universe because they ruined their universe. So they had to kill the version of them in that universe so they can exist in that universe.
Yep, I'm not important. Never mind.
Right.
I suck.
Yeah. So when it was looking at that, that means there's another Loki in there, right? That exists, and they just erased him, and then they're just finding the right person to stop Loki, because it makes sense why Mobius said, "I'm just following a hunch." And then when he was talking to the girl, it's like, I don't think you're doing what I think you're doing. So that means he has done it before.
Yeah, but when I heard that, I thought just in general that he is used to getting guys who are badass, just like Loki, and use them for their good. Right. But to another thought, having it that way, yeah, that's a unique one. Because when he said Loki is the one they're looking for, it didn't really show Loki at the end. It just showed a silhouette.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are assuming that it's a lady version of Loki in a different universe.
Yeah, I thought that too. I did think of that once, but your whole theory just shot my head down. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Right. And then also when he entered the building, I don't know if you noticed, one of the guy that Casey was checking in was a scroll.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
I remember.
What if that was a scroll in the same scroll in Captain Marvel? You know what I mean? Like it's just in a different timeline, in a different universe.
Well, apparently to TVA that they are the true in my term, they are the true universe outside of the sacred timeline, because they're the ones who's trying to keep those three entities.
The Timekeeper.
The Timekeepers.
No, I don't think they're in a universe. I think they're outside of the universe.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're outside. They're outside of the timeline. That those scrolls. I just forgot where I'm going with this. But yeah, I'm just saying that TVA, it's outside. Or maybe. Okay, now I see where you're going. I may have misinterpreted what you were saying.
Yeah, they're outside of the universe.
No, going back to the scroll that they're probably
what
from.
What if they're Captain Marvel? The same scroll from Captain Marvel.
Because when I was reviewing it, what they normally do, if they are innocent or guilty, I don't know what they do. They will reset them and put them back in the point where they disappeared. Yeah. Try to go back to normal. Yeah. Is that where you're going with the whole Marvel thing?
No. So it's another version of him from the Captain Marvel.
That's the only time we've seen the scrolls in Captain Marvel.
Wait, why are you arguing with me?
Because I want to argue with you.
No, I'm just saying he's just another version of that scroll from Captain Marvel, and he got a hold of a time machine, and he went and tried to do whatever he wants to do, and TVA caught him. Right. So now they had to reset him and put him in the sacred timeline.
I'm just saying what you're saying, just saying it differently.
I was like, why is he arguing with me? We're saying the same thing.
Yes, I'm just, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Another thing that I noticed was when you were watching that video, right? That small, if that reminds you of Fallout, which makes sense why it reminds you of Fallout, it reminds me of BioShock. That whole animation in the TV, it reminds me a lot of BioShock. You play BioShock?
Yeah, you're the one that introduced me to BioShock.
Yeah, whenever you activate a new skill, they will do that kind of animation. You know what I mean? And so that reminds me of BioShock. But anyway, so when he was watching that, the history of Timekeeper and Sacred Timeline and things like that, he mentioned that there's a sacred timeline, and whenever there's a new timeline happen, they call it what?
A Nexus.
A Nexus. When was the first time you saw Nexus?
In WandaVision.
WandaVision, and one of the commercial is WandaVision, which will lead us to Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness. That only means that Loki is gonna end up having a different multiverse.
Okay. So you're saying that they're gonna play out in
like the ending of this season, or at least the ending of this season, will be the whole Timekeeper thing. The whole TVA will be abolished, and there won't be any more sacred timeline, which bring us to Eternals.
Yes.
That would lead us to Eternals. So everything will be connected to that. WandaVision, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and Wanda is gonna be in that movie. They said, and then all that thing, and then the same thing with Spider-Man and the 2 other Spider-Man that are in the new Spider-Man movie.
Right.
So it's all that multiverse. So the ending, I assume, connecting all the dots and all the lines, this whole show is gonna end, and that's my prediction. This whole show is gonna end that the TVA will be abolished or ruined or destroyed, and there's gonna be a lot of Nexus and multiverse happening.
Well, the way they said it in that explanation, that the Nexus that's happening, it's supposed to happen in this singular or sacred timeline. Like when he was having that interview with Mobius, he brought up the question. It's like, well, how about the Avengers?
That wasn't with Mobius. That was with the girl that was asking him, how do you plea? He said not guilty because if it wasn't for the Avengers, yeah.
And that's right. So how about the Avengers? They went through so many different timelines. Mm-hmm. Why they aren't being punished?
Because, and I have the same question, and that's because, like what the lady said, the timekeepers are the one who get to decide what's gonna happen and what's part of the timeline. Which brings us, and we can talk about this later because you have some questions. Let's talk about that later, actually.
I think I'm done with my notes, so you can go on.
Well, I have more. So after we can talk about that and how that works. But another thing that I noticed was, hold on, I had it. I lost it. Hold on.
Was it my fault? I know I don't interrupt you.
Yeah, because I always go in a train of thought. Like, I'm going to hit this, and then I'm going to go and this and this, and then I'm going to hit that. And then I'll just, okay, it got jumbled, and now it's gone. I'll probably remember it later. But let's go back to some of the questions.
Okay, well...
let me start with that question before I lose it again. So when she said that it was the timekeeper who gets to decide what's going to be in the timeline, what's a multiverse, that brings me to the, like what you said, the Avengers going back in time, making a multiverse. But here's the thing. They didn't reset the 2014 Thanos, because the 2014 Thanos went to 2020 or 2019, I'm sorry, 2019, and died there. That Thanos in 2019 in the Avengers timeline is not the same Thanos in their timeline, because that Thanos, they killed it, right? From the different planet, in a different planet. So that this Thanos that they killed in 2019 was in a different timeline. So
Correct.
That built another timeline.
Yes.
Unless they go there and erase the whole thing and gone.
Well, again, all that's happening was supposed to happen. Like, how I understood in that explanation, that in the sacred timeline, within the sacred time, all these things, all these multiverses, all these nexus are happening, which, as you just mentioned, the timekeepers want to choose of what needs to be fixed, while the others are part of the plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's only part of the plan of that 2014 Thanos. But his life in the 2019, before he teleported, it's still happening.
Okay, I see.
So what's going to happen in that 2014 Thanos without Thanos?
I see.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Now it's hitting me now.
Right. So that builds another timeline. Unless if they will explain it in the show that the TVA went in that 2014 and erased that whole thing. You know what I mean?
All right, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it doesn't, that part doesn't make any sense to me. But go ahead. What are some of your questions?
Oh, I should have had you explain it. No. Let's see. You talked. Well, there were more my interaction to it and some questions. Okay, just papers and Loki at the end. I was with you on the concept that it could be another Loki from another universe that went through the process, but in this Loki, he was able to escape, and then it just so happened, and like again, we came up with the same concept, but I'm saying that I was thinking that this is a second time. You know how Loki's coming over and over and over. My concept that this was just
his second time doing it.
Second time, like, oh, we got another Loki. We can use this Loki to catch himself.
Right. But that also kind of that idea of there's a lot of different kinds of Loki, that kind of eliminates that prediction or that idea because Casey didn't recognize the Tesseract. You know what I mean? So there might be like a different form of Loki, but carrying a different kind of Infinity Stone. Like that will be the very first time Loki brought a Tesseract.
Do you think those people in TVA that's outside of the sacred timeline are they're truly the most uniqueness of themselves? And when I mean that there's not multiple of them, like multiple Lokis, multiple Thors. They're the uniqueness of them. They are truly unique in the characters.
All the people in TVA.
Yeah,
that's another question, and I think that will be a question for a lot of comic book characters, because it's like these people in TVA are bound in time, so they have their own timeline too. Like, who's holding their own timeline? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have their own timeline as well. So I don't know.
Oh, so you know how he was watching his life in in the room. Of course, you already know what I'm talking about. Do you think the reason why that there's no continuation of his time, his life, it's because he's outside of the timeline? I mean, we know that Thor, in a way, or Thanos,
when it ended.
Yeah,
No, because he died.
Well, yeah, but there's so many ways of people coming back to life somehow. And it just so happened that he couldn't come back to life because we think he's dead. But my thinking is that the reason why he doesn't have a continuation of his story, because he happened to fall out from that variable or variant timeline. Does that make sense?
No, I don't think so. I think he just died. Because, okay, so there's an idea in comic books that going back to life, but in the history of MCU, there's nobody that came back to life.
Yeah, right. Like even
You know what I mean?
What's her name? Black Widow.
Yeah, even Black Widow. So his show ending because he died, and
Okay.
you got to remember he was watching his future self.
Right.
He didn't teleport during that time that Thanos killed him. You know what I mean? He was in the past when he went to TVA.
Correct. Okay.
You know what I mean? He was his past version.
And kid you not, in the movie Thor, Dark Elves, when Mobius explained that it was somewhat Loki's fault for his mom dying.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. I was like, is that really what happened? His whole intention that Loki sending the enemies to Thor, but it ended up to being with his mom. That, I mean, I know it's a simple scene, but it just blew my mind. I was like,
yeah.
I just thought Loki decided to just guide them to a path,
Right.
but to lead him to his mom.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, but it's great that Mobius, like the show, explained that and had to tell Loki, because Loki had no idea. You know?
Exactly.
He just knew that the mother died, but he didn't know that.
Because it didn't happen yet to him.
No, he did.
Oh, it did. Yes, because it's the Avengers. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, he didn't. Did it? Because no, he didn't. Because in Avengers, it was Avengers first before Dark.
Oh, so yeah, he
had no idea.
Yeah,
he had no idea. That was his future. Yeah.
So he saw his future, supposedly his future.
Yep. Doing
that sucks.
Right.
That really sucks. Like, you're trying to get back at your brother, and you're thinking in your head, no, my brother won't die. So
cost him his mother.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Oh, another thing that we noticed that they're gonna remember, we finally, I think this might be the first time. It might not be the first time, or this is the first time we heard his last name.
Oh, you're right.
Right?
He said Loki,
Nefarious or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Because
that was the very first time when the lady mentioned it.
Loki Lefarius, or something like that. Loki, because there was Thor, Odin's son, or son of Odin.
Yeah, Odin's son. Yeah, Odin's son.
And then there's Loki Lefarius. Lefacin.
Yeah, that's the very first time we heard about it.
You love Lefacin?
Yeah, right. That was awesome.
Wait, son Lefacin?
Yeah, Lefacin.
So, because in the concept, if son of Thor or son of Odin, he's the son of Lefay.
No, the Odin's son is the name.
I know Odin's son, but normally it's because they
yeah, probably.
son
So
of Odin.
the name of the
The guy on the frost
ice,
giant
the
they
frost
killed
giant
is LaFay.
LaFay.
So he knew his last name, or no, he may have not, because he just learned about his past self
Mm-hmm.
when he held the Tesseract for the first time.
You say what?
He learned who his true nature was when he held the Tesseract the first time. In the movie Thor.
Oh yeah, because the his real image of
It
as
came
a
out.
frost giant showed up. Yeah. What else? What else you got?
Well, there's that, and let's see, multiverse, and having seen many helpers. Are the timekeepers as because they always keep bringing up someone who is supposed to be the most powerful being. Someone's going to end up killing the timekeepers, aren't they?
Maybe.
Then they're not the most powerful being. So what is the most powerful being? Oh well. Anyway, it's always someone powerful as time goes on, and then sooner or later, the Eternals are going to be a part of the whole story. I think I may have covered all my questions. Yep, I think that's it.
Okay. One of the questions that I have was, who's the kid?
Which kid?
The kid in
yeah, at the church.
Yeah, like what is the relevance of the kid? The kid saw Loki, the other Loki, according to Mobius, the other Loki who killed the other people. But I don't know what's the relevance of the kid.
Of the
I
kid.
don't even
Well,
know
that's
if
the
we're gonna see
same
him
feeling
again.
that I had with the Mongolians. But this kid, this made me think more inclined to what you're thinking, that it's another version of Loki, is because you see the bubble gum that they had. It was a blue bubble gum.
Yeah.
But the blue bubble gum had the fashion of the TVA style. It's a bubble gum, but the design, when you look at it, you have that TVA feel.
That's like an old bubble gum, but
Not by age. It's just that you can tell that the bubble gum product came from TVA. If you look at it, if you go back to the image and look at the design of the bubble gum, the image, you know how everything has advertisement like this. This has an advertisement, and you can tell it's like today's modern design. But if you look at that,
okay,
you can see, and it made me think maybe it could be the other Loki, or someone from the inside just decided to go bad.
Yeah, okay. I didn't see that. Like, I just thought I wanted to know the relevance of the gum and how Mobius reacted to it differently. So
Right.
So you might be right. It was from the TVA or from something else. Like, it might not be part of that timeline. It might not be part of that world.
I don't think bubblegum existed in that time.
Well,
Especially
we
flavored.
we don't know what timeline is it though. We don't know what age is it. It is.
Well, true. I mean, when I look at the kid, I got a feel of. No, it did. If you look at the introduction of Mobius, it gave a timeline of what year? I think it was 1957 or wait, early 1847 or 18 something. It did give a year.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, then yeah, there's no gum that time. That's why he was. He might be right. Wondering about that. And we don't even know if it's a gum. Do we know if it's a gum?
He did say it was a gum.
He said it's a gum.
Mobius did.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's it. That's it pretty much with the whole thing. We usually do predictions for the next episode, but the next episode is happening, so we're not doing that. We're just gonna watch the next episode and see. I actually don't have an idea what's gonna happen next in the show.
Me neither.
But the only thing that we know is gonna happen is Loki's gonna end up working for him to search and look for the other
Loki.
The other allegedly Loki. But the rest of it, I don't know. I don't know how is this gonna play out. I don't know how is it gonna be related to the Marvel MCU universe. Right.
Maybe the second episode will kind of help us connect the lines and dots.
Right. But the whole main goal right now that we know is to hunt for the other Loki.
Correct.
But he might end up meeting one of the timekeepers, if not all of them, and resolve the problem and talk to him and ask them, and hopefully they will explain how the Avengers is not responsible for the time variance too, and why are they not variants.
You know what was bugging me about Loki in this whole show? I mean, it's just one episode. Because, again, we know how Loki is in this character, and maybe this one episode doesn't justify the rest of the show. I was just kind of shocked how Loki just surrendered to what was going on.
But did he?
Well, exactly. That's why I said maybe I'm saying it too soon, because this is just episode 1.
You gotta remember, he betrayed Thor multiple times.
Well, exactly.
He pretended he died multiple times until the very last time in Infinity War. Even with that, people assume that he's still alive.
So he pulled the, boy cried wolf so many times until he actually died.
Well, because he's the god of mischief.
Well, okay, yes. But what I'm saying is that he may have just surrendered it all. Like, I really can't do anything, because he just realized that he can't do anything.
That too, or he's just planning, like, finding an opportunity to escape,
which we'll might find out through the rest of this series.
Right.
But
that's what
I'm saying too soon.
That's what I'm saying. He might just have trying to wait for an opening, a good opening, because it's right now he found out that none of the Infinity Stones, even with none of the Infinity Stones work, let alone his ability. If the Infinity Stones don't work, that means his ability won't work. So he's in a place where it's really powerful. So he wouldn't be able to escape. He's just finding
he even tried to double check if it worked for the very last time when he went back to the room, and then Mobius enters in, and he asks him, "Did you try to escape?" Yeah, like several times, but it didn't work.
I know it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. Right.
Yeah, but I got nothing. Yeah, so far the first show was pretty a good kickoff of the whole Loki.
Yep, that's it. That's all we got. If you enjoyed this podcast, let us know. You can find him in every social media account. Just look for.
I guess I don't have to introduce or to tell about myself, but yeah, you can find me anywhere.
Where?
You just told me you can find me. I thought you were gonna finish the rest.
No, that's why I pointed at you. Okay. Where? I want you to finish it.
Okay, so yes, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
I feel like Loki when he's like, I'm trying to make a point. Well, okay, fine, you stand up now. Well, I don't feel like doing it anymore. Like I was trying to set it up where we can be done instead of you naming all the things. Because I'm gonna do the same thing. Like, you can find him in any social media account. Where?
Okay.
And then all you have to do is just say, "Oh, at Wakka 127," and then I'm gonna say, "Well, you can find me too everywhere just by looking at the Gum Fam Show."
I get the point. Okay, Wakka 127, or you can find me Wakka anywhere in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Just so you know, I don't interact a lot. If you want to hit me up, please let me know that you are hitting me up because of TMFS. But yeah.
And you guys can find me in the Gum Fam Show. You guys can find this account too in the Maximum Filipino Show in every social media account. And we have an email, themaximumfilipino@gmail.com. If anything that we didn't say or mention in this episode, let us know. Please hit that comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you are in the end, if you reach this moment of the video and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Or if you've been watching a lot of our videos and you still haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Like, you are wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Keep looking us up, typing the Maximum Filipino Show if there's any new episode. Why not just hit that subscribe button with the notification bell for all, so every time we post something, you will see it.
Yes.
Which, by the way, it's every Monday and Thursday. I don't know if you guys noticed yet. But yeah, Monday and Thursday, we post all of our episodes.
Everything what she said.
She said?
He said, I mean.
She said? Anyway, to all the Maximum Filipino Show, CB,
Wakka.
There you go. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Late.
Joanne.